We are back out in the garage, and we've got some parcels that arrived. A couple of care packages arrived. For those that aren't familiar with this channel, we're working on my Nissan Silvia, SR20 powered, built motor. Last video we tore all the manifolds off it, got it ready for some new fun bits. And today we get to start playing with them. So, already got a couple out. Wow, done a little bit of prep off camera, painted the manifold again. Got the turbo here, so we've got a Pulsar G25 550, little boy, nothing too special, just perky little thing. But I have gone and welded a tube onto the exhaust housing. See there, not the prettiest welds, but they'll get the job done. And we've got the wastegate, the Garrett wastegate. They were kind enough to send one out for me. I've been keen to play with one, see how they perform, see what they look like in person. Overall, pretty happy with the unit. Be good to see the results, and it should look good in there. And then, even better, Raceworks have come to the party. They've been a big supporter. I mean, I'm supporting them just as much really, but I wouldn't be able to build these cars without their help. So we've got the fuel rig, got a fuel rail here, got the intake manifold I've painted up. Just working on making an adapter, because the G-Ready intake doesn't have the lug in the normal spot, so I'm just making that easy enough. But yeah, we got a big parcel from Raceworks here, all sorts going on. Got some hose, got throttle pedal. I got to try and work out how to mount. Couple of cooler pipes just to work it stuff out. Some Yaris coils, all sorts of fittings, fuel filter, and all sorts else coming as well, which is pretty bloody exciting. I love when parts arrive, it's like Christmas. But yeah, definitely wouldn't be able to do what I do without Raceworks helping me out. Today's going to be one of those days jumping between jobs a little bit, but that's alright. Oh, the camera slid down again. Yeah, just jumping between jobs, trying to get a few things mocked up, make sure things are going to work how they're meant to, and just a little bit of fabrication. Look, I've got the rocker cover, I partially paint stripped, got most of it off. The rest I should be able to get off with sandpaper pretty easy. Maybe one more layer of paint strip. But we've got to bloody put the fittings in. Which means probably hole saw, whoop them in, nice and easy. Just have to put it on the car, work out where it's going to sit just to clear that. But that's easy enough, I'll do that in a second. Get the exhaust manifold on, get the turbo on. I have had that on once, just to make sure that wastegate position was right, and it should be good. Turbo can nearly stay on, apart from waiting on the drain and having to weld a fitting on, well, not a fitting, bloody neck onto here. Once that's on, the turbo can stay on for good, which isn't bad. Around to the cold side, kind of want to leave the intake off at the moment just so I can get to everything. That way I can make up. I'll probably do the wiring for the alternator and the starter soon. In saying that, I should probably just run over all the wires for the PDM. That'll be a job for today. You can see it sitting over there, coiled up. Probably get that in the car and just cut everything to length so I can make it over the next couple of nights. Get that in. Ooh, that's one thing. The fuel rig. You can see I put fittings on there. They're roughly what I reckon will work. And I'm thinking if I weld a boss onto here, mount that like that, that should be good. Enough clearance, and it should go, might change that fitting from a 30 to maybe a 45 or a 90. And it should be good, and I've got enough clearance for the filter for the bottom fitting. Yeah, that should work for me. It's just going to be a bit of playing around now. Ah, the joy of it. I love fitting new parts. I feel like it's the most exciting bit of the build. Well, I had one of those I'm an idiot moments. Just spent, I wouldn't say that long building this. When to sit it on there, everything's right. Sit it flat on the back. As you can see, I've made the little clearance for the rail. And then the back on the front, nope. This one sits lower than that one. What a fail. Then I clicked, I'm like, why don't I just join these two together? So that's what I did. So got that'll sit like that. And then we got, where does that go? This one will sit here. Just need a hole in the middle. easy as, and I'll just chuck a nutset in there. Went from being rather, not difficult, but moderately harder bit of fabrication to something quite simple. And it's nearly done, just needs a bit of a clean up. And it's good. This alloy plate I've used, you won't even need a painter or anything, should look alright like that. Ah, joy of cars. Nothing's ever quite bolt on when you've got aftermarket bits to begin with. Need to stick the sr20 badge back on there as well. Hoping I can get away with just some super glue. Need to find where I put the badge as well. Get that railed arm, then get the exhaust manifold and intake on. Cheeky little plate made up there to block up the ISCV. I'd welded on a -6 fitting on the bottom. This is now for the brake booster, because it was on the back and it was just a nightmare. It basically nearly hit the clutch master, but having that on the bottom means it can be routed nice and easy, and when I do paint the bay I can change it to a nice braided line. So I've got the option to fix it up in the future without having to do some more welding, which is good. But I really want to get all this stuff on, so I'm going to quickly knock it out. The turbo was a bit of a fight. As you can see, the wastegate sits pretty much right in the gap, so when the bay's painted, probably a bit dark there if you can see, yeah, when the bay's painted I'm actually going to have to take the gate off to put it in, which is much of a muchness. That's not too bad. It was just to get over one of the back studs. But yeah, you can see the turbo sits nice and snug down there. Ran a silicone joiner off here up to a 90 to a 45 to the filter. Not too bad. And just waiting for a cast bin to run it forward. I'm hoping that I don't actually have to take the turbo off again. I'm just able to take the cartridge out to do the front, which would be nice. Over to the intake side. This was easy. Pretty much just lined up the two studs. I don't have anything holding it on there now. But where is it? Where have I put it? There it is. So got this bad boy. I've just swapped over the fitting to a 90 to start with, as I wouldn't mind going just there. I can't get to the adjuster on the top, but that's okay. Once I get it in there and set, it'd be fine. But that'll be nice. I can somehow weld a lug onto that fitting. That way I can bolt it on. Yeah, I'll make something work there. That way I can just go a straight line down, return can go straight over, wherever I end up repositioning those lines. Should be easier, and it's nice and hidden away. No point putting it up in a dicky spot, and it keeps the fuel lines nice and short. Tell you what, there's nothing like cutting up expensive parts. Just cut the bloody end off the turbo. That way I can weld this cast bugger on there. Nice easy, 2.5 inch. Take it right back down so there's no 2 inch left. Simple enough. That way it can shoot out. Managed to get it out with the core still in there. So that's a win. Also had another one on this side. Mind the towel, just keeping the shit out of the engine. But got a lug welded on there. All the sensors back in. She's pretty firm. Can access that through the top. Can access the nut from the bottom. Can still do the fuel pressure. So that is good. Small wins, small progress, jumping between them, but it's fabrication time. So we'll do some welding on this, drill and do some welding on the rocker cover, probably cut that bloody pipe off. Not really looking forward to that. And yeah, maybe start prepping the intercooler pipes. I don't know, they're all over the floor. Man, it's lucky I'm not my own boss right now, because I'd hate myself. Just really pushing myself through. Welded on that elbow, come up, alright. Then did the couple of fittings there, welded that bugger and the other side as well. Alright, not the best, not For a bloke that hasn't done alloy in a long time, they came out pretty good. Same as that. Really should have grabbed a couple of scrap pieces, had a bit of a play around first, but you know, just jump into it, see what happens. Trying to work out what's next. I reckon, as much as I don't want to do it, it's the wiring loom. So I'm going to push the car back, probably move the RX-7 in, and open the doors up, get in there, move everything into the position, cable tie it, and cut it to length. That way at least I can work away on the dining table tonight, get it ready, that way it's in, done, something else I don't have to worry about. Actually at the moment the fuel pump's out at the moment, the tank's empty, but that can wait. And once that's cleaned out it can go on. Or actually before I pack up the grinder, I'm going to cut that end off as well. This could end up in disaster. I'm going to try and jam a rag in there so I don't fill it up with filings. Then get ready to weld a couple of elbows on that when they arrive. I swear this is the most painful process. I've got this little wrench, I've got this gap I've got to go around from behind, and I've got to try and do up this oil line. I've been at it for 10 minutes and it must be close. It is painful. I can't get my fingers onto it to even wind it by hand. I just want you all to feel my pain through the camera. It is a nightmare. Only bonus is I'm on my knees. Oh, that's it. We're nearly tight. See it pulling on the line. Alright, camera down. I need to position everything. Damn, she looks good down there. And I must admit, the wastegate, the red, it should work there. It's hidden away a little bit. Just a nice little spicy touch, you know? Something I forgot to mention as well about the Garrett wastegate. I've always had an issue with the Turbo Smart. Putting this V-band on because of the firing. The Garrett gate, you slide it on, slide one side on and it pulls it all together. Wrap the other side around and just do the nut up. You don't have to push from the top in. Kind of just works how it should. That's not good. Waiting on materials to do the exhaust. I reckon that'll be in the next video. Along with the intercooler pipe and the intake, as I'm just waiting on the silicone joiners. Really, what I gotta do now is the wiring. Bugger it. I thought this was going to be an easy enough job. Chuck the fuel pump in the tank. But I can't find where I left the O-ring for it. So, I'm going to pop it in, knowing I'm going to have to pull it out again. Just come back to that in a minute then. Something I need to do before I forget about it. Headlight bulbs. So, we got the inner little spotlight buggers and we got the outer H4s. A bloke always comments on my posts whenever there's a new car. He goes, how many lumens do you like? 6,000 Ks, Dirk. 6,000 K. So, yeah, we'll get these buggers in there. Should be easy enough. That didn't go smooth. Got the H4s in there. The H2s they got for the spotlight side, which is going to run as a high beam as well. It's not an H2, it's not an H2. It's the same style plug, which is what I was working off, but the actual nib of the light doesn't fit through that hole. So if you know what that bulb is, what style is meant to go in there, let me know in the comments. That way I can put one in there. At the moment I can still wire it. I'm going to put that style plug there. Well, worst case sorry, not H2, H7. H7's what I got. So I'll do a bit of Googling, see what I can find out. But yeah, at the moment, nothing to go in there. Wow, the loom's all measured and cut to length, cable tied wherever it needs to be. Looks like bloody spaghetti. Looks like a nightmare. But that's not too bad. We'll chuck it on the table tonight, work away for a couple of minutes, and probably 4 hours later, it'll be looking good. But we had a silicone joiner arrive. This bugger here, just cut him down to length, just so he fits in the hole good. So let's build an intake pipe. Before I do that, I just want to take a moment to thank Jamie and the Raceworks team again. So I just wouldn't be able to do this without them. Parts arriving every day. They've just been looking after me. So let's use their alloy pipes. We got this one here, a 90 that's going to go down there. 45 that's going to go there. Got to cut them both to length. Going to do a quick rough cut on both of them. And then, yeah, mock them up. Do some welding. See if we can get this right. There's the ticket. Just cut a little bit of the leg off. Sits pretty good, clears the power steering pump, which is what I want. Don't want to go much lower than that. Now I need to cut about that much off both, and I'll join in the middle there, just after the bends on both, where the filter can sit, just there. Nice and above that hole, so it's still getting some fresh air. Should be nice and simple. Then wrap it in tape, weld her up. Probably the easiest bit of fabrication on the car, this intake pipe. And saying that, the cooler pipes are the same. 2 bends, cut them in the middle, join them where they need to be. Not bad. Filter just sitting on there. Turns out bloody Jap filter, it's a 80mm bloody pipe. So going over the 76mm pipe, it's a bit loose and I don't want to clamp it down just yet. But yeah, that's how it has to be. I'm just going to weld there. Should be away laughing. Sits pretty good, pretty much where I wanted it. I probably could have gone out further, but nah, that's good there. It means I've got room for tubs too, and I can rotate that pipe over if I ever need to. So that is nice. And it gives me room for the cooler pipe to run up underneath of it. Just need to chuck it on the welder, give it a bead round, and then when I take the cooler pipes to get rolled, I can get that one rolled as well. Well, at both ends. Ah, another job done. Might chuck the loom in now before I weld that. Just got the engine loom here. Still got a couple of little bits and bobs to change and fix on it. Overall not bad, not great, wouldn't be able to charge for that, but you can see small welds, as I'm going around it gets bigger. I bumped the bloody adjuster, so suddenly I went from 70 odd amps up to about 80ish, even a little bit more. Worked with it, just had to move faster, but yeah, I would have preferred to stay on those nice small ones the whole way around, but every little bit I do again is just practice, and I can't fault that. Next step, fuel line time, and I want to show you guys this cool fitting. So this, it's got a little O-ring in there, there you are, and it's designed to go over a flare hose like these. So you basically slip the butt over first, put the O-ring on, put this on, and then screw it all together, and it works as a compression fitting. So basically you don't have to do anything, you don't need any special tools, just bolt it on, and next thing you know you've got an AN line there, well, an AN fitting. So I'm going to do that from there up to the fuel rig, so nice easy line around, and then the other line is going to get cut way down there so I can put that fuel filter in, and then from there it'll run up to the fuel rail, done, this side up to the fuel rail, done. And it's just that easy, it's all bolted on there. About 30 seconds later, easy as. Now I've got a nice -6 AN fitting to work with. Gonna P-clamp that line off to the side so it doesn't wobble around. Just one fuel line to go and waiting on my hose to arrive. Just the back one, down to the filter. You probably can't see because I can barely see it, but she's starting to look like an engine. Bloody good. Just mocked up this intercooler pipe. This one I've just cut one down. Really got to wait till I weld on the ends of the intercooler before I can do them properly. And I just don't want to get ahead of myself and ruin 2 bits of pipe if I don't have to. But yeah, it's looking good. Ended up welding a tab on there while tacking it. I'm going to pull it out, I can do that. It's just had a bit of flex. It still does now until that's welded properly. But it's starting to look good. Wiring obviously needs a hell of a lot of cable ties to hold it in its right spots. Not much to do right now. Intake will end up coming back off, I'd say. Actually no, I guarantee it will, because I'm waiting on the bolts. So it's not sealed properly. Might as well sit the rocker cover on there for now. She's looking ugly over there. And I reckon that's me done for the day. It's been not a bad day's effort. Well, a couple of days effort to get to this point. And yeah, probably another few days like this. And we'll be done. Well, not quite done. We'll be to the point where the car's running and I can just take it to Frank, get him to tune it. Then we can fresh the bloody thing. Can't wait. Something I nearly forgot to mention. The injectors. They're Bosch 1100s. I love the Bosch plugs. But yeah, these are meant to have an adapter on the bottom. This bugger right here, I'll chuck a photo up of it. It's basically, they've got a long snout. At the moment, because I don't have the adapter on, it's sitting right down in the port. And hopefully on the dyno we can do a couple of back-to-back tests with and without the adapter. See what we get better results with. Should be an interesting test. I mean, I can't see anywhere it's been done. So hopefully it works. But yeah, thanks again to Raceworks for helping me out with everything. I mean, like I said, I couldn't do it without you guys. Jamie and the team there have been more than helpful. And thank you guys for watching. Take a minute, if you haven't already, subscribe, write a comment, and bloody chuck us a like.